catch you in the dark on a full moon night. Take your spirit or take your life. So careful how you go, 'cause devil eat your soul, and you're never coming back home. Chanting Manje, Divawe, Man Zotie, Zotlame, Manje, Divawe, Man Zotie, Zotlame. Have all kind of bush folk. The mother of the river called Mama Glow. Believe me, have Papa Boatu living in the bush with the Lagahoo. Have the Dwens with the backward foot. And Laja Bless on the side of the road under the silk cotton tree. Lose your life if you sleep. So careful of who you meet. Chanting Manje, Divawe, Manzotie, Zotlame, Manje, Divawe, Manzotie, Zotlame. Black Bee bringing news. A jumbie bird call mean a body dead soon. Bad luck to play with shadow. And Maljo always follow cockcrow. Throw down salt to stop sukuya. At night, when you get home, enter your house backward, 'cause you never know if Jumbie trail you home. And don't take money from road. Chanting Manje, Divawe, Manzotie, Zotlame, Manje, Divawe, Manzotie, Zotlame. So I call that one Tambu Bamboo. But you don't have a proper Caribbean story unless you have an Anansi story. So here's an Anansi story that I know. It comes from Suriname. It's called Anansi and the Book of Knowledge. Long ago, oh, oh, long ago, oh, oh, long ago in the forest lived Bre Anansi, the father of the Anansis. Now, all the other animals were vexed with Bre Anansi. The tiger, rah! The eagle, ah! The frog, ribbit, ribbit. The monkey, ooh, 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 ooh. Even the donkey, was vexed with Bre Anansi. He is sly, he is wicked, and he always tries to trick and fool us, they said. Furious, furious was how the animals felt about Anansi. But Anansi, he laughed. And he laughed. And he said, "You angry? Well, I'm angry too. And when I get angry, I could be more angry than all of you. So, Mandi, Mando, Mandi, Mando. I am Bush Anansi, you not as smart as me. I am Bush Anansi, you not as smart as me. Mandi, Mando, Mandi, Mando. Look by the riverside, you cannot find me. Look by the seashore, you cannot find me. Mandi, Mando, Mandi, Mando. Well, one morning, Anansi woke up and he put on his big jacket. And then he walked to the riverside. Now, at the riverside were some big, heavy rocks. And Anansi put a big, heavy rock into one jacket pocket. And then he picked up another big, heavy rock and put it in his other jacket pocket. Now Anansi was as heavy as the rocks. And he jumped, cha-boom, into the river. And he sank deep, 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 deep into the river until he landed, beat him, on top the house of Mama Glow, the mother of the river, with the long, long, long hair and the golden comb. Abo mama was me de jimoy. Abo mama was me de jimoy. Was me de jimoy. Abo mama was me de jimoy. Well, Mama Glow, she was not at home. So this sly boy Anansi, this tricky boy Anansi, he walked around the house. And then he walked around the house until he found a big book. Anansi opened the book. And inside this book was all the knowledge and the wisdom that not even human beings knew about. So Anansi take the book. No, he thieved the book. He took the big heavy rocks out of his jacket pocket and he shot up to the surface of the water. Then he swam to shore, the book tucked under his arm. Psh, psh. Made sure nobody could see him and he ran home as fast as he could. And when he got home, he opened that book and he read all the knowledge and the wisdom and the knowledge and the wisdom and the wisdom and the knowledge until he was knowledge itself. Ha ha ha, said Anansi. Look at me. I am knowledge itself. And now I can be anything I want to be. I could even be a dragon with a fire tongue to spit fire on all my enemies. So give me fire, more fire. Give me fire, fire, fire. Give me fire, more fire. Give me fire, fire, fire. Ha. You should have seen this dotish boy Anansi, this foolish boy Anansi, how he was pushing and shoving and concentrating to make fire. But not even a spark, not even the flicker of a matchlight. All he could make was a thin, 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 fine, 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 fine strand of a spider's web. Ha ha, said Anansi, look at what I can make. Ha! And he went on pushing and shoving and concentrating until he had made another thin, fine strand of a spider's web, and another, and another, and another, until he had a whole spider's trap. Well, Anansi climbed into his web and he sat in it like a king. And he said, look at me, Anansi. Look at what I can make. A whole spider's trap to trap all my enemies. So you, tiger, rah, and you, monkey, ooh, 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 and you, eagle, ah, ah. Beware of me, Anansi, 'cause it's only the ones who are clever and wise like me, brothers. Yes, only the ones who are wicked and smart like me, brothers. Yes, only the ones like me can build a spider's trap. Can build a spider's trap. Wire Ben, story, end.
Right. Thank you, Lisa. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Share
Thank
your
you.
love in the chat, guys. Share your love in the chat. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah, yeah.
you.
If you want to hear more of my stories, you can just visit river-stories.com. They're all up there.
Wonderful.
Ask Miss
Wonderful.
Anne about it. Thank you so much for having me, Kesha. Thank you, everyone. Miss Anne, I'll see you later. Steve, Heather, bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Oh, wonderful. Next up.
Good night. Enjoy the weather across the pond. It was nice having you.
It was lovely being there. I'm honored.
See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Well, next up, we are traveling to the Bahamas, and we are going to hear a very special story from Heather Thompson. Heather, I turn it over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Greetings from the Bahamas. I'm here to tell you a story called The Garland Bride. But before we start, I'll do the traditional Bahamian opening of a story. Once upon a time was a very merry time. A very merry time was she. It wasn't my time. It wasn't your time. It was old story time. Now, Frank was the handsomest man in the settlement of Lower Bogey, Lutheran. All the girls loved him, but he didn't pay them any mind. He lived with his Grammy because he had grown up without parents and she took care of him. And she was worried that he'd end up all alone. But Frank told her, when I see the one, I will know and I will get married. And Grammy said to him, Frank, you gonna pick and pick until you pick needle without eye. Frank laughed. Stop talking that foolishness. I'm gonna find the one. Don't you worry. One day, Frank, who was a fisherman, went to the pond to look for bonefish. But as he approached the pond, he heard this sound. And as he followed it, he found a big black garland in the bush. Now, I don't know if you know what garlands look like, but they're not so pretty. They have a long neck, big black wings he had, and spindly legs with long toes. Frank picked up the garland and took it to his home, where he put it on the kitchen table. He went to get a box to put the garland in. But when he came back with the box, guess what? No garland in sight. Instead, there was this beautiful dark lady with long dreadlocks down to her hip. She smiled at Frank, and he fell in love instantly. He told his grandma, Granny, I am going to marry this woman. She is the one. Granny was a little hesitant. She said, Frank, it takes time to know her. Love is not an overnight thing. Frank didn't listen. Frank went ahead and married her. Her name was Galinda. And for a time, things went really well. Galinda could cook. I mean, she cooked peas and rice, peas and grits, fried fish, chicken sauce, anything you could imagine. And Frank was even getting a little fatter. But Grammy noticed something that worried her. Galinda never ate anything that she cooked. Now, we can find out what that was all about. But anyway, the other thing that bothered Grammy was that every day around 11 o'clock, Galinda would leave the house and she wouldn't come back till about 4. and she never told anyone where she was going. One day, Grammy followed her, tiptoeing behind her. And what she found out was that Galinda was headed for the same pond where Frank had found the black garland. She hid in a bush and waited. To her surprise, Galinda turned herself around and around. Kiskadee, turn me back to who I should be. And Grammy was about to scream because Galinda's nose became a beak, her shoulders became wings, and her feet became very knobbly and long, and the toes were very, very long. But she kept quiet and waited. About 3:30, the garland stepped out of the pond, shook itself off, turned itself around and around. Kiskadee, turn me back to who Frank wants me to be. And she became Galinda again. Well, Grammy couldn't wait. She ran to tell Frank the news. Darn fool, you married a garland. Darn fool. Darn fool, you married a garland. Darn fool. You thought you married a woman, but you married a big black bird. Frank laughed. Grammy, you've been hitting the bottle. You had too much coffee. Or maybe you had some weaving. Oh, I can't believe this. But it did put a little seed of doubt in his mind. So when he went home that evening, he said to Galinda, honey, you cooked this wonderful peas and grits for me. Come and sit with me and have some. Here, there's a spoonful. And he put it to her mouth, and she tried to eat it, but then she can't. She couldn't make it. And I'll let you in on a secret. The reason why she couldn't eat that peas and grits is because garlands don't like human food. Well, Galinda could see the suspicion now in Frank's eyes. And she turned herself around and around and around. Kiskadee, kiskadee, turn me back to who I was meant to be. She became a black garland again and flew through the window. She was never seen in Lower Bogue or anywhere near there again in life. And Frank, poor Frank, he lived alone from then on. You see, it doesn't do to pretend to be what you're not, because you end up hurting yourself and others. Bebo Ben, my story ends. I'll never tell a lie like that again. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Heather. That was wonderful. Put your love in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, guys. Heather, tell us where we can find you to find more stories from you.
It's organized as you guys. I have to get there. I have to get there.
All right. Well, stay in touch and you'll get to hear more stories from Heather. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you for having me, Kesha. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you. All right, everyone. All right. Now, as we continue with our stories this evening, let us know how you feel. Put it in the chat. I'm seeing hearts. I'm seeing high fives. Oh my goodness. Nice, Heather. Oh, the stories are wonderful. Yes, yes. Excellent. Love it. These are the comments that are coming through. This is amazing. Well, next up, we have a storyteller from Toronto that's going to share a story with us. And so let me see if I can find her here. Maxine, are you with us? Oh, there you
Yes,
are.
ma'am.
Great to see you. Great to see you. Well, Maxine, I'm going to turn things over to you. Dazzle us with your tale.
Thank you. Okay, I'm listening. I went to check the door because the story was supposed to walk in, but somebody had locked the door. So I'm just waiting to see if the story will come. And yes, it is here. So this is the story of the fox that rode a camel. And no, it's not a Caribbean tale, but it will be told with a Caribbean accent. Fox had a good life, a very good life. He lived near to a farm, and every morning when he wake up, he would go through a hole in the fence. And on the farm, he would eat all the fruits you could think of. Every single lovely, delicious fruit, mango, tangerine, you think about it, he would eat it. On this particular day, though, he went through the usual hole in the fence, eating bellyful, and he heard a sound. When he looked up, he saw the farmer. Poor Fox didn't know what to do. Fox ran, trying to find somewhere to hide. But you know how it is with a farm, with trees, no bush, there was nowhere to hide. So he decided, let me just go back outside, run through the hole in the fence. When he got to the hole in the fence, there was no hole. The farmer had stopped up the hole. The fence had been fixed. Fox did not know what to do with himself. Can't run, can't hide. And then he had an idea. He decided he was going to play dead. So drop, boof. The farmer went over to him. Farmer had a stick. And he poke, or as we say, juk, the fox. But the fox would not move because he's playing dead. Farmer, thinking that the fox was dead, grabbed the fox by his legs and threw him over the fence. Happy that he had not been killed, Fox ran straight to his home and decided, you know what? I'm okay, my belly is full. Tomorrow is a new day. The next morning, Fox woke up happy and headed off to the farm. But when he got there, he could not get in. Fox have a short memory, Could not get in, the hole was stopped up. Not knowing what to do, he sat there thinking, I am so hungry. I am so hungry. What am I going to do? And then he remembered his friend Lion. And he said, let me go look for Lion. Lion always have food. And he walked and he walked and he walked. It's a long walk. And he walked and he walked and he walked. And he walked and he walked and he walked until eventually he got to Lion's den. Lion! Roar! Who is that? It's me, your friend Fox. Fox, what are you doing here? Oh, it's been such a long time. My mind was on you and I thought, let me come and look for you. But Lion, I'm hungry. You have any food? We always have those friends. Lion said, no, Fox. I ate everything already. Nothing is here for you to eat. Fox thought for a while because he said, boy, I am so hungry. I cannot wait another day. And he said, Lion, I have a friend in the village, over there. I'm gonna go for him. Let us see what we can do. Fox turned around, headed back to the other village, walked for a little while, and eventually he got to his friend. His friend was Camel. Camel, how are you doing? Fox, what are you doing here? Oh, I've come to look for you. It's been such a long time. You look tired, Camel. Camel said, well, yes, it's a hard work. I'm here working. It's hard. I have to work to live, to eat. I know how it is, said Fox. But Camel, I know a beautiful place full of fruit trees, no need to work. You sleep, you get up, you eat. No hard life. Why don't you come with me? Let's go look at it. See if you like it, and maybe you'll stay there. Camel thought about it and he said, sure, I'll come with you. Yeah, let me come with you. And so they headed off. After a while, Fox said, Camel, you know, so I can really show you the path to walk. Let me hop on your back. Camel, being easygoing, said, sure, Fox, hop on my back. And they headed off. So we know where they were going. Poor Camel was clueless. After a long, long walk, Fox said to Camel, we're almost there, Camel, we're almost there. Of course, Fox was very excited. Camel at that point raised his head up and looked in the distance. And when he looked in the distance, there he saw a lion hiding in the bushes. He thought to himself, you mean me I walk to my own death? And he quickly turned around and walked in the other direction. Fox said, what's happening? Why did you turn around? Camel said, you know, there is a book that I must take with me, a very important book. I can't go anywhere without it. Fox was upset. But Camel, you can get the book tomorrow. Let's just go. We're almost there. Camel said, no, I have to get the book. And he kept walking. And he walked for a long while because it was a long walk. When Camel got to his workplace, he said, you know, Fox, I think I remember what's in that book. There were 5 things. 1, never go anywhere without the book. 2, there's no shame in hard work. 3, be grateful for what you have. 4, never be friends with tricksters, for they will trick you too. And 5, never go close to lions. And with that, he shook Fox off his back and went right back to work. And that is a short story of the fox that rode the camel. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That was wonderful, Maxine. Well, don't go far because hopefully we'll catch another story from you. But thank you again. You put yourself on mute. How can we find more stories from Maxine?
Maxine is at Caribbean Palawa, IG. And any event, if you go to Caribbean Tallow, you'll see where I am and my activities and stuff. Sometimes I don't post, I kind of bad with the posting. Sometimes I'll post like on the day when the event is happening. If it's other people's events, I tend to post them more often. My events, I'll delay a little bit. I get a little bit of anxiety, but yes, Caribbean Talawa. Caribbean the normal way and Talawa with the 2 L's. Talawa, yes.
I love it. I love it. Either way, Maxine, we're going to hear more from you. You're definitely one of the storytellers to watch, but there is more to come. Thank you. Thank you again. Put your love in the chat, please. Wonderful. We are seeing wonderful stories, Maxine. Fox was out, Fox. Brilliant. Great, Maxine. Wow. The comments are coming in. Well, we're not just here for the stories. Of course, you know, we have to play a little bit of a game, right? So this game we know very well. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Well, we'll start light. Well, here is our first question, our first riddle. Which two letters of the alphabet are never sick? I'll give you a minute to put in your answers. Do, 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 do. That's like us. Wonderful. A few more seconds to bring those answers in. All right, we're almost there. Let's see, let's see. The tally is coming in. I guess you're ready for the answer. Which two letters are never sick? The answer is easy. Okay, okay, I'm okay, you're okay. That's that. Well, there's more than one riddle ahead. And so let's come into this next one. And this next riddle, it might be an easy one and it might not. It goes like this. What has a face, two arms, and no legs, and is always moving? I'll give you a minute. If you think you know the answer, put it in the chat. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Wait, is that copywritten? Jeez, I might have to do something else. Well, we'll see the answers come in. The answers are coming in. Hey, Dopey. Well, that's a good one. Are you ready for the answer? A clock. Definitely a clock. Awesome, awesome. But before we get into the next story, let's do one more. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Guess this riddle or perhaps not. What can be broken and never held? What can be broken and never held?
Sure, you got to ask the international ones, man, because this look as though they're only Jamaican. I saw all the Jamaicans out early, Kesha. Early.
Hey, don't say that. Don't say that. Multicultural. Watch, I'm shaking up my bag. I'm shaking up my bag. Watch out, watch out. All right, let's get the answer for this one. All right, looking in the chat, we've got lots of answers here. We've got a promise.
We need to call in the auditors, Kesha.
Oh, auditors already? The heart. Okay, love it, love it. All right, this one could be one of two answers. Could be silence or the heart. Good answers, good answers. All right, and we're checking it up. We're checking it up. Everybody ready? Digging deep. Digging deep. All right, let's see what we got here. What we got here. Okay. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Guess this riddle or perhaps not. Let's see. How can a man go 28 days without sleep? How can a man go 28 days without sleep? Do, 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 do. You see, and now nobody's putting in comments. Come. Are we almost there? Everybody put in the answers who want to put in the answers? Don't tell me you missed out. How can a man go 28 days without sleep? And the answer is close, very close. You ready? All right, the answer is, you guessed it, because in sleep a night. In sleep a night. All right. If you like those, I'll come back again and play some more riddles. In the meantime, let's jump back into the stories. Now, we've had some great stories from London, from the Bahamas, even from Toronto, and now we're traveling again. But before we get into this next story, I'm seeing a lot of names, but not a lot of places. Feel free to rename yourself and include where you're listening from. Right, Sleepless in Seattle. Oh, goodness. Feel free to rename yourself and include where you're listening from. Well, now we are traveling to the US. We're traveling to LA, but we've got a very special story. And this story is going to warm you from the inside out. So all of you who are in the cold, don't worry, you're about to get warmed up. Well, Steve, are you ready to join us with your story, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
Awesome. Well, I turn things over to you.
Anansi, oh, kwaku, anansi. Oh, Anansi, oh, kwaku, kwaku, Anansi. Anansi came across the water. Anansi has a vivacious little laughter. Anansi is a tricky little master. Anansi, oh, kwaku, Anansi. Oh, Anansi, oh, brother, brother, Anansi. Now, my story today is Brother Nancy and Brother Duck. But before I get into my story, I don't know if you are like me. When I was growing up in Jamaica, every morning you'd hear your neighbor pushing me over the fence and say to the other one, "You hear what happened last night?" They say, "No, ma." He say, "Pop Tory, give me now." So, when I start my stories, I like to draw on that refrain. So if you know it, sing it with me. Tory, 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 me say Pop Tory, give me. And me say give me, give me, give me, because I got a story. You say, Pop Tory, give me. We really do not mean. I said I really do not mean that what I am about to say is true. It's a story, yes, a story. So let it come and please let it go. Once upon a time, Brother Nancy lived in a village where bad mouthing and backbiting was very bad. So Brother Nancy decided that he was going to go to the fairy gods and ask the fairy gods to grant him one wish. Just one digga wish. And that wish was, if anybody should say anything bad about another, they will fall down, poof, and dead. Well, Anansi's wish was granted. But soon after Anansi's wish was granted, Anansi came up with an idea. He said, "You know what? I have to make some fortune from this misfortune. Well, I got to eat a food." So what did Brother Nancy do? Him get himself a pickaxe, him get himself a hoe, him get himself a machete, and he went to a big, broad, flat rock near the side of the road, somewhere like Flat Bridge. where everybody passing by must see him. And Nancy began to knock. And go pong, pong, pong. Brother Pig was the first one passing by. Brother Pig said, morning, Brother Nancy. Brother Nancy said, morning, Brother Pig. Brother Pig said, what you doing over there? Here, Nancy, you know, here, Governor passed law that say famine is coming on the land and everybody must work. So I'm just trying to see what I can do. Now, as soon as Brother Pig went by, Brother Pig said, but see ya, people farm on good ground and Nancy farming on rocky soil. Guess what happened? Before Brother Pig could say that, Brother Pig fall down, boof, and Nancy run over, pick him up, put him in a bag, and say, that's not the way one should talk about a man. He went home and he make himself a feast. Him have bacon, him have jerk pork, you name it, he had it all. The next day, Brother Cow came by and Nancy was still there knocking. Brother Cow said, morning, Brother Nancy. And Nancy said, morning, Brother Cow. Brother Cow said, what you doing over there? And Nancy said, you know here, Governor passed law that say, famine is coming on the land and I'm just trying to see what I can do. Brother Cow went by and he said to himself again, you know what? Good people farm and good soil and Nancy farming on rocky ground. And before you could think about it, guess what happened? Cow fall down, poof. And Nancy pick him up, put him in a bag and say, that's not the way one should talk about a man. Now, Brother Horse came by and Brother Goat came by and they too fall to the same fate. Now, it seems as if the word had gotten out because 2 days passed and Nancy is still there knocking, but nothing happened. Until one morning, Brother Duck came by. And then Nancy knock again. Pong, pong, pong. Brother Duck said, Nancy, what you doing over there? And Nancy said, Brother Duck, you know here. Governor passed law that say famine is coming on the land and I'm just trying to see what I can do. So, Brother Duck don't say anything. And Nancy said, by the way, Brother Duck, what great news you have going on in your neck of the woods? Brother Duck said, you know what, Brother Nancy? It's a good thing you ask. Because, you know, last night I had a dream. And in that dream, I dreamed that I was on this land too long and I haven't married. So I'm just going down to Orchard to see if I can find me a little brother knows. Yes, Brother Duck went on. But yeah, Nancy, no, you don't see me dying, child. Good people can't find people to marry to, but long mouth Brother Duck trying to get somebody to marry to. Before him could have said that, and Nancy fall down both. Brother Duck turn back, pick him up, put him in a bag, and say, that's not the way one should talk about a man. Well, I know me make it, but I saw me get it, saw me silly, Jack Mandora, me not choose none. Now the moral of that story is, if you have nothing good to say, please don't say nothing bad. Because for me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Amazing. Please put your love in the chat. Put your love in the chat. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Steve. That was an amazing story. Hopefully we can hear another one later on. Thank you. Thank you. That was amazing. Wait, Steve, where'd you go? Tell us, where can we find more from you?
You can find me at briannancy.com and I'm on all social at I am Brian Nancy or I am VS Russell.
Wonderful, wonderful. Wait, you have something coming up. What's next for you?
It's on the agenda for me and my capacity on the CARICON. We'll be heading to Jamaica for the CARICON Poetry Slam. So I'm looking forward to doing that. There's also World Storytelling Day happening in Jamaica, so you can see me in some of those activities. Looking forward to that. You can find me on all the social. Kesha, you know where I'm at, so reach on out.
I do. Thank you so much. Thank you for that. All right. Well, before we get into the next story, you know I've got another riddle for you. And you're going to have a problem with this one? Well, let's get into it. Please put your answers in the chat. I'm sure you can get this one. All right. What runs fast without legs? What has no legs and runs fast? Do, 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 do. Oh, I see the answers coming in. The answers are coming in. Wow, wow. Duppy's coming up a lot. I'm going to have one for you. Let's see. I hear you say Duppy. Ooh, mouth, ear. What? Are you ready for the answer? I've seen the answer a few times here. Let's see. Let's check it. Yep. Water. Whoever guessed water, you're right. All right. Let's get into this next one. Patch by patch and no have no seam. How does it go? Patch by patch and no seam. Let's see. Have I stumped you this evening? Have I stumped you this evening? Wonderful, wonderful. Keep the answers coming. Keep the answers coming. Let's see. Oh, awesome. Awesome. All right. We'll give it a little more and see what the answer is. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Uh-oh, uh-oh. No sad faces. No sad faces. All right. The answer is lettuce or cabbage. Lettuce or cabbage. All right. Of course, now we're going to get a little technical. These riddles are a little more technical, but I'm sure you'll enjoy them. All right. Jim ride out on Friday and he spent 4 days and came back on Friday. Jim rode out on Friday, spent 4 days and came back on Friday. What's the answer? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Jim lie. Dr. Richard, it's good to have you. It's good to have you online tonight. Oh, I see the answer. I see the answer. Ah, that's a good one. That's a good one. I think we're ready for it. Well, the horse's name is Friday. The horse's name is Friday. All right, before we get into the next story, we've got an easy one for you. Why is the river so rich? Why is the river so rich? Do, 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 do. Come on, put your answers in the chat. Put your answers in the chat. That's a good one. That's a good guess. Let's see, let's see. Nice, nice. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. The answer for this one is because it has 2 banks. It has 2 banks. Well, let's get back into the stories. And before we continue on and travel around the world. I hear you, Anne. I hear you, I hear you. Let's get into the next story.
My
Well,
audio is.
Your audio is what? All right, we'll come back. We'll come back. Well, this story comes from yours truly. And this is one of those fun Anansi stories that I just couldn't wait to share. This story is called The Dancing Granny. Well, on an island, there was a house, and this house was a pretty house. It was so pretty with its blue, green, yellows. It was so cute. But in front of this house was a big garden, the most beautiful garden that you had ever seen, with its flowers, its fruit and vegetables. It was so beautiful. And on this property lived a woman that everyone called Granny. We don't remember what her name was, but everyone called her Granny from long time. But Granny had a special gift. When Granny came out of her house and put her 2 hands in the dirt, then come like fertilizer. Her flowers were bigger than everyone else. Her fruit was sweeter than everyone else. And those vegetables were crisp and nice. But you see, in these times, during famine, there was only one person you could get food from. So everybody went and asked Granny for a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and Granny was happy to share. All except for Anansi. Now, Anansi lived way on the other side of the island, and he had only heard about Granny. And, well, Anansi never wanted to travel so far to really find out if she would give him a little something. But they say, when hard times reach, pick a short fit you. So Anansi had to get up one day and make the trek all the way to Granny's yard. And when he got there was a very large tree near Granny's yard, but not in Granny's yard. So Anansi climbed up the tree, and Anansi leaned over in this tree, and he looked around and saw all of the yummy goodness that Granny had for eating. But Anansi wasn't one to just ask for the things that he wanted. And he had heard a rumor that there's one thing Granny couldn't resist, and that was music. So instead of Anansi asking Granny for a little food, Anansi decided to start singing. Hear him now. It's long time, yeah, me never see you. Come make me hold your hand. It's long time, yeah, me never see you. Come make me hold your hand. Peel a junk cross down Pajita. Wait. The beat got into Granny's feet and into her hips. She started to swing and sway, and she started to wheel and turn. She spun herself out of the yard and way down the road. As soon as Granny was out of sight, Anansi went in and picked all of our beans and went home, and he and his family had a wonderful meal. When Granny finally found her way back to the yard, she looked around and thought, I know that voice. But she looked at the big hole that Anansi had left. She couldn't remember the name, but she knew the voice. And well, Anansi wasn't one to give up a good thing, so he went back the very next day and climbed the same tree that was near Granny's yard, but not in Granny's yard. And of course, he climbed the tree and he started to sing again. It's a long time, girl, me never see you. Come make we walk and talk. It's a long time, girl, me never see you. Come make me walk and talk. Well, again, the music getting on Granny's feet and into her hips, and she started to sway and swing and wheel and turn, spun herself out of the yard and way down the road. When Granny was out of sight this time, Anansi went in and picked all of her corn and other goodies that he could carry, took it all home, and had a good meal that night. When Granny made her way back, she looked around and saw her corn was gone, their big patches left empty. And this time she remembered whose voice it was. She knew it was Anansi, and she said, wait, this time, if I leave everything for Anansi, he's going to pick me dry. So I'm going to teach him a lesson. Well, we all know Anansi had to come back the very next day. Well, Anansi came back the very next day, and of course, before he got to the tree, Granny called out, Anansi, come inside. So Anansi opened the gate and he walked inside. He leaned up where he could. And then Granny started to talk about this and talk about that and all the other things. And Anansi talked until he was tired. So he just started to sing. It's a long time, girl, me never see you. Come make me wheel and turn. It's a long time, girl, me never see you. Come make me wheel and turn. Well, this time Granny felt it in her feet and in her hips, and she started to swing and sway, and she grabbed hold of Anansi as she spun out of the yard and way down the road. The two were wheeling and turning and spinning and twirling right until the sun began to set. As darkness set in, Granny finally let go. Well, Granny was tired, but Anansi was out of breath. She looked good at Anansi and she said, Anansi, you know you're not a bad dance partner. Well, Anansi, out of breath, realizing that he didn't get a thing to eat, he looked at Granny and him realized one very important thing. He realized that sometimes even Anansi can bite off more than he can chew. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I see the love in the chat. Thank you, guys. That is so wonderful. Thank you, thank you. Well, since we're in the mode of stories and sharing stories, let's put up the thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's put up the poll for the evening to see if anyone is interested in sharing their own story. Well, you know, we have many stories to tell, and I've got more in store. But if you'd like to share a story, let me know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dr. Richards, good to see you. Thank you for coming out. Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you, thank you. Wonderful. Oh, it's still coming in. Awesome, awesome. Wonderful. Well, let's see. Maxine, I'm going to bring you back on. I'm going to bring you back on. Let me ask you a question. Where are you? Oh, there you are.
Question time.
Question time, question time. So I know that you had a very big event that happened earlier this week. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, Kesha, it was the launch of the Ancestral Voices We Belong podcast. So we started the idea came to me in 2020. Actually, it came in 2010. But you know how you have ideas, but you kind of hesitate to move. And what the idea was, it was based on the fact that when we moved here, I could not see any books to deal with really Black, Caribbean, African authors. My children weren't bringing home any of such books. And coming from the Caribbean, you know, we have books close to us that are about us. But, you know, it took George Floyd, that whole incident, to get me from being fearful and to get moving on it. So we did, before the launch of the podcast, we did it as online and in person. So Tuesday was the launch of the podcast. We feature creatives, we feature Black, Indigenous, Caribbean, African creatives.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And did you mention where we can find it?
Yes, I'm not very good at this. So it's for YouTube, it's the initials, AVWB2, and it's on Spotify, and that's it. I think it's on Apple as well, but definitely Spotify and YouTube.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
The first one is out.
Oh, awesome, awesome.
Hope you'll enjoy it.
Thank you. There is more in store. All right.
Thanks,
Well,
Keisha.
I have a question for everyone this evening. So we're all here, we're sharing stories, and I know we're having a good time. We're getting music, we're getting riddles, and of course, we're getting stories. But my question is this: where and when did you hear your first Caribbean tale? Was it a folk tale? Was it a personal story? When and where did you hear your first tale? Well, yeah, you can put it in the chat, or Dr. Richards, if you want to share, we'll give you the mic. here and now. Wonderful. Glad you could join us. Dr. Richards, I'm going to give you the mic. There we go. Wonderful, wonderful. All right. Go ahead. Let's give you the mic.
Oh my, oh my. I wasn't expected to talk to you all tonight at all.
Oh,
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I didn't know it was happening. And Worm told me about it. I'm so glad I made the effort to come. I am here cooking dukna and saltfish, right? And enjoying the story time. You guys are making my weekend. Thank you.
wonderful, wonderful. Glad you could join us. Glad you could join us. So we're just looking and everyone sharing when they first heard a Caribbean tale. Some were youngsters, most from their parents. We're having a great evening. All right, wonderful. All right, we're just about to get into our next set of stories. Let's see, wonderful. All right, so we find out all about Anansi and his antics, but you know, Anansi does some things that we don't always expect. And this, I would say, is one of my favorite Anansi stories to share, but don't tell anyone else, just between me and you. Well, this is a story about Anansi and common sense. Well, Anansi was a collector of all kinds of things. He would collect clothes, shoes, boots, and on Sunday, he would go around and collect Sunday dinner from everyone's house in the village. But I tell you this, collecting clothes, shoes, and old things, old broke, as my mother would say, we're not gonna make Anansi rich. And Anansi wanted to be the richest man in the area. So we had to find something that everybody needed that they would want to buy from him. Well, he sat down to think. He sat down to think for such a long time. You know, and then say you think until you stink. Well, Anansi sat there for a very long time trying to come up with a plan and couldn't find a thing. First, he thought he would collect seashells, but living on an island collecting seashells made no sense. So then Anansi decided that he would collect mangoes. After all, there's a folk song all about mangoes. Me no drink coffee, tea, mango time. No care how it may sweet, mango time. Downside, mangoes spoil. Them ripe too fast, at least for Anansi anyway. Or maybe he just couldn't sell a mango for in life. But he had to find something else. So he sat thinking until one day he saw his neighbor ask a friend for some advice. Well, that was it. If Anansi had all the common sense in the world, then everyone would have to go to Anansi to get a little bit of advice. And of course, Anansi would charge them big money and become big man on campus. Well, Anansi set out to collect the common sense. He started with a scandal bag and he started to put the common sense inside. But truth be told, we're not supposed to have them anymore. But that scandal bag got a little hole that became a big one and the common sense oozed out the side. So when Anansi decided he was going to be environmentally friendly, and he decided to put it all in a paper bag. Well, he put all the common sense in a paper bag, and when paper bags get wet, they all do the same thing, and that paper bag split in two. So there was Anansi with all this common sense around, and he needed to find a place to put it. Well, he had an idea. Anansi went and found himself a very large calabash, and he started to put the common sense inside. With its hard skin, there was no way it was going to get a hole, so he piled it in. He went to the school, he went to the barber shop, he went to the church, he went to his friend's house, he went far, he went wide, he went near, he went under, he went over, until he had collected all the common sense in the world. Then he put a cap on it. And of course, Anansi needed to find a hiding place. So he searched high and low again. He searched until he was tired. And then he remembered something that his mother always told him. When you are looking for something, always start at home. So there it was, Anansi and his tired self made his way back to his yard, looked up, and there it was, right there in his backyard, a tall eucalyptus tree with its broad branches, and Anansi knew that was the spot. So he spun a web around his belly and around that calabash, and he started to climb. 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4, boom, he fell. Try again. 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4, boom, he fell again. And Nancy was climbing and falling and climbing and falling until a crowd started to come into the yard to see what this foolish spider was up to. Well, everybody watched him climb and fall and climb and fall, and no one said a word. Well, after a while, the crowd was so big and still nobody said a word. That's until she came. Shelly Ann was the cutest little 5-year-old that you had ever seen. She was so cute with her big pigtails and her perfect Sunday dress. She made her way through the crowd to the front. She looked up at Nancy and she knew exactly what was wrong. She said, "Nancy!" And Nancy looked down and he thought, does this child not see that I am busy? Hey. Well, when he looked down, she knew that she had his attention. So she went on to say, wouldn't it make more sense to put the calabash on your back so that you can climb easily and freely? Wait. And Nancy had gone around collecting all the common sense he could find. And this little girl is going to come into his yard and give her 2 cents. This made Nancy mad. So mad that steam started to come out of his ears. He grabbed that calabash and threw it to the ground. Well, when it hit, it shattered and common sense took flight. It went east, it went west, north, south, and all around the world 2 times. So if you wonder, why is it that in every part of the world, places big and small, that there is a little common sense? Well, that's easy. It's Nancy who made it so. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Put your love in the chat. Awesome. So we've got the information for our ancestral voices in the chat. We also have, thank you so much. That's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, awesome. I'm glad we're having a great time tonight. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening. We've got more stories to tell. So it's very interesting to hear how some of us had heard our stories. So grandparents, in the evenings, we heard Duppy stories. Oh, we might get one tonight. Let's see. Wonderful, wonderful. You're right, Dr. Richards. The eucalyptus tree has a slippery bark. Awesome, awesome. All right, let's get into the next story before we ask another question. All right, Maxine, I'm going to bring you back. You have another story for us.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Okay. So this is the story of a Nancy and old conch. Just have to get in, put on the mask and thing, yeah? A long time ago, there was a king, and this king was doing construction on his castle. He was getting it done. But there was a particular piece of timber that he needed to complete the job. Now, he said it was a piece of timber, but he knew it was a big and a long timber. And because it was big, long, and also heavy, he knew there was only one man who could get the timber for him and bring it to the castle. Because in those days, he didn't have the truck and all of that thing and forklift. So he sent for him. That man was Old Conch. When Old Conch got to him, he said, Old Conch, I have a bit of timber that I need. I need it to finish a section of completing or constructing in the castle. But because of how it is only you alone can get it for me. I'll give you a reward. Just make sure you bring it here for me. Old Conk was slow, but the king knew he was sure, and Old Conk went on his way. But you know, it's an Anansi story, so you know who was listening, and you know whose ears prick when him hear reward. So Anansi went over to the king and said, King, let me get it for you. I think I can get it for you. King looked at Anansi and said, you know, Anansi, I don't think you can do it, you know, but if you think you can go and do the job, by all means, go on your way. Anansi faster than Old Conk, Anansi whip past Old Conk. And soon Anansi came upon this timber. He was a little concerned when he saw it because it was really long and it was big. He tried to lift it, it wouldn't move. Tried push it, wouldn't move. Not a thing him do would that timber budge. But you know, everybody know Anansi does not give up. Very resilient, very strong. Him figure I'm going to find a way. And he kept pushing it, all kind of things. And this timber wouldn't move. After a while, Old Conk came on the scene. Old Conk looked at Anansi and just cut him eye at Anansi. And then Old Conk start to sing. Leap, timber, leap, follow long road, timber, follow, leap, timber, leap, follow long road, timber, follow. And the timber jump, and the jump, it reached further down the road, nearer to the castle. And Nancy said, hey, I saw it go, no problem. And he whips off, run down the road to where the timber land. And Nancy don't give up. And Nancy, resilient man, him can't fix this. So him say, all right, I saw it go. And him start to sing. Leave timber, leave, timber, follow. But not a thing happened. Because of course, wrong tune, wrong tone, wrong everything. And Nancy don't give up still and him keep trying. And eventually, Old Conk turned up. Old Conk again just look at Nancy, kiss him teeth, and start sing. Leap, timber, leap, follow long road, timber, follow, leap, timber, leap, follow long road, timber, follow. And the timber jump. And the jump this time, it land right in the castle. And who run after it? Anansi. As Anansi reached, there was a king standing in, feel so good and happy. Anansi said to the king, King, see, I bring the timber, bring the timber, bring the timber. I can get the reward. He wouldn't even pause and take a breath. The king said, oh, I'm so happy. I didn't know you could do it, Anansi. Yes, I'll get the reward, but I'm not sure that this is where I want it. I think I want it somewhere else. But let me go get the reward for you in the meantime. And the king went for the reward. By the time the king come, there was Old Conk. And Old Conk greet him. King, I bring the timber. King said, no, it wasn't you, Old Conk. It was Anansi. The timber was there. Anansi was there. Is Anansi bring it? No, King, said Old Conk. King said, you know what? I am not getting into this. I can't bother with who. All I know is I don't want the timber here. I want it over in that corner. Well, you know, Nancy, goose cook. Old Conk start to sing. Leap, timber, leap. Follow long road, timber, follow. Leap, timber, leap. And of course, the timber jumped exactly where the king wanted it. The king, realizing that Anansi was planning this trick, that is tricking him, go after Anansi to step on him. But Anansi quick, and Anansi run in a corner and hide. So, you know, If you ever wonder why it is you cannot find Anansi the spider, why are spiders always hiding? To this day, Anansi is hiding from the king. And that is the story of Anansi and Old Kong. Thanks.
Awesome, awesome, Maxine. Thank you, thank you. Put your love in the chat. Oh my goodness. I hear here, and Nancy's voice is high-pitched with the list. That was perfect. And Nancy never miss a beat. Uh-oh, serve him right. Wait. Wow, wow. Lots of love for you, Maxine. Lots of love for the story in the chat. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Awesome, awesome. All right, so it's time for another question. And this time, I'm going to load up the question in the poll here, and then let us know your answers. You can put it in a chat, or I think you can use an icon to let us know you'd like to speak, and we'll see, give you the mic. All right, here is the question. Who is your favorite folklore character and why? Who is your favorite folklore character and why? We've heard about Anansi, but there are so many. And I'm thinking that somebody wants a Duppy story. I'm seeing Duppy in here in the chat a lot. Let's see. Awesome, awesome. Wonderful. Keep the answers, keep them coming in the chat. Yes. Lots of great ones. I see Laja Bless, Brer Rabbit, All Heg. Awesome, awesome, wonderful. Let's see what else pops up. Wonderful, wonderful. Anansi's wife. Yes, there must be stories about Anansi's wife. Love that, love that. Yes, yes. All right. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, keep it coming in the chat. Keep it coming in the chat. In the meantime, we are going to jump into another story. And so let us bring back Steve with another amazing story. Steve, you ready for us?
I guess I'm always born ready.
We're ready for you. Thank you.
Okay. According to Andrew Salke, Anansi is a spider, Anansi is a man. Anansi is West Indian, and sure, Anansi is African. Well, once upon a time, there was a great famine in the land, and people could hardly find food to eat. And like all of the other animals, Brother Nancy could not find much food either. So Brother Nancy was walking in the forest, and a foot kicked over a pot lying on the ground. And Nancy said, "What a pretty little pot." The pot said, "Don't call me pretty." And Nancy said, "But what must I call you?" Him said, "Call me, do make me see." Now, having nothing better to do, and Nancy said, "Do make me see." And the pot cooked him a meal of rice and peas, chicken, food, and Nancy had not seen in a long time. And Nancy sat down and ate his belly full. And Nancy went home, and although his wife would give him any of the meager food that he has in the house, he said no, he didn't want any. So his wife was wondering, why would Nancy not be eating? Days went by, and Nancy went back to the same spot, turned the pot over, and says, "What a pretty little pot." Again, the pot cooked up delicious meal. And Nancy's starting to get in fat, but Mr. Nancy's wondering what's happening because he's not eating anything. He bring home 2 meager bananas, and he would not eat any. So one day, Mr. Nancy decided that she's going to follow Brother Nancy into the forest. Now, Nancy campered in. And Nancy got to his spot, pulled his pot out of his secret location, and said the magic word, "Do make me see." The pot cooked up another meal. Mr. Nancy was amazed. So guess what? As soon as Nancy was done Mrs. and Nancy went home, fetched them starving kids, run back, turn over the pot, said the magic word, do, make me see. And the pot cook up another meal. They ate and their belly was full. Now, Mrs. Nancy, being a tight little woman that she is, she took the pot to the nearby river. And although the river told her not to wash the pot, Mrs. Nancy washed the pot. No, the next day Nancy come back. And Nancy turned over in pot and said the magic word, do, make me see. Nothing happened. Do make me see. And Nancy says, but nothing happened. And Nancy now thought, you know what? Somebody must have found this pot. So he was raving and ranting. And as he continued through the forest, he was just kicking everything in his path. Then he stumbled up on a whip. And Nancy said, what a pretty little whip. The whip said, don't call me pretty. And Nancy said, so what must I call you? No. And Nancy, hoping that he will get more great fortune that he got with his pot, he said, do make me see. And the whip set upon him and chased him into the forest. Oh, and Nancy was upset. He was raving. So when he got home this time, guess what Nancy did? And Nancy announced that he had found a gift in the forest. Now, Mrs. Nancy now followed Nancy one more time. This time, when Nancy got to the magic whip, and Nancy didn't say anything. And Nancy revealed the whip and went walking. Mr. Nancy came out of hiding, hoping to get some more good fortune. Said, what a pretty little whip! The whip set upon Mrs. Nancy and chased her into the forest. Now, Brother Nancy was standing by, and he was so happy to see that his prank had worked. And so he just laughed and laughed. Well, as me always tell you, I know me make it, but as some me get it, some me sell it. So Jack Mandora, me no choose none. Ay, ay, ay.
That was amazing. That was amazing. And I see the drum. You have something special for us now.
Okay. When the drum comes out, the ancestors speak. And so this one is called Anancyville. Up here in Anancyville, we can see things very well. We can tell you what is up, what is down, and what is everywhere. Up, let us go to the place where Anancy lives, where milk and honey flow. Tell me something I don't know, and I will take you there. Where? To see the spider God himself who rules us everywhere. So up, let us go to the place where Anancy lives, where milk and honey flow. Up here in Anancyville, we can see things very well. We can tell you what is up, what is down, and what is everywhere. So up, let us go to the place where Anancy lives, where milk and honey flow. Guava root and medicine, figo cure all them young gal fever. Guava root and medicine, me say, guava root and medicine. Guava root and medicine, figo cure all them young gal fever. Sing, guava root and medicine, guava root and medicine. Guava root and medicine, figo cure all them young gal fever. I was rafting on that Rio Grande, oh. It was me and Bray and Nancy, oh. We buck up on one big rock stone and the raft turned over, cause we were rafting on that Rio Grande, oh. So never come with me and me brother Nancy, oh. Cause we buck up on one big rock stone and the raft turned over, cause we were down on the Rio Grande, oh. Feel, sing with me. Feel, let me hear you say, Nancy, I feel. Nancy, alone, I feel. Now sing, say, feel me. And Nancy, I feel me. Nancy alone, fi me, fi me, fi me. And when we say no, fi we, fi we, fi we. And Nancy, fi we. Nancy alone, fi we, fi we, fi we. Now we combine and we say, fi you, fi me, fi we. And Nancy, fi we. Nancy alone, fi you, fi me, fi we. Thank you, Kesha.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, Steve. Thank you. That was wonderful. So we get story, we get music, but wait, did you mention you're an author? I mean, there are so many families that are on that would love to be able to find your books. Tell us some more about that.
Thank you. Yes, I am an author. Many times it's an afterthought because I am in the performance space. But I do write books. I have 3 books in the series: Brand Nancy and the Magic Pot, Brand Nancy and the Easter Egg Hunt, the perfect one for the Easter holidays coming up, and Brand Nancy and Brother Duck. Outside of that, I'm also, I do authors visit to schools. I do performances at different events. And I'm also a motivational speaker. So I am ready to come wherever I'm invited. And I'd love to share and continue to share the rich Jamaican folklore and culture wherever I am invited. So thank you, Kesha, for the opportunity. It's a pleasure being here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for joining us, Steve. It's been a treat. Thank you, thank you. All right. Well, as we continue, our time is going by quickly, but there's so much more to share. I'm looking in the chat to see answers to the questions and how we heard stories and such. I'm sure there's another question that will pop up shortly. Wait, let me ask this question. Who is the best storytellers? I mean, of course, I know we've got Steve, Maxine, we had Lisa and Heather, and well, some would say me too. But let me ask you, who are the best storytellers? Your grandparents, your auntie? Drop it in the chat. Oh, awesome. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Mothers when they're mad at the rum bar, parents, teachers, grandparents, parents. Oh, wow. Wonderful. We've got some greats. We've got some greats. Oh, awesome. Children when they're in trouble. Of course. The best storytellers. I agree. Wonderful, wonderful. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Yes. Put your love in the chat. All right. And here is our next question. I hear you, Anne.
But you have to mention the politicians are the best storytellers.
Yes, the politicians are the best storytellers. And for those of you who haven't voted yet, there's still time. Well, our next question. Should we keep telling our stories? And why? And who should tell our stories? The gems that we carry. Thank you. Keep putting your love in the chat. Wonderful. We'll leave this one up for a little longer. Feel free to put your answers in the chat. Nice, of course. Definitely keep telling our stories. Our stories must be told by us. Wow, that's powerful. Awesome. All right. I'm going to end that question. Well, our time is moving fast, but with lots more to share. I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening, but I have a few special guests that I would like to bring on. So no, I want to check to see if they are ready. I mean, I'm looking and I see one of our elders on now. I see Pauline Coley. Are you ready to chat? Let's see. Pauline Coley, are you ready to chat? Let's see. We'll come back. Okay. Next, I'm looking to see who else. Deborah, I see that you are on. I would love to chat with you about a very special project you're working on. Are you ready to chat? Stories are so powerful, and we need to keep telling our stories. First up. Auntie Peggy.
Yeah, hi. I'm sorry, Mikey was on the phone with me, and I have to tell him, I have to cut him off because I'm missing everything. Hi.
Hi.
Hello, man. I'm so happy and proud of you, girl. I am feeling excited, and I just want to thank God for you. I miss about half an hour, because I don't know why I was thinking it was 7:00. And I sit here and wait, and then realize that you were halfway through already. But I still got a whole lot of it, and those storytellers are fantastic. That guy in California, the lady that come on a couple of times already. I just thank God for all of you guys that you're blessed with such talent, and you're sharing it with the world. I believe most people anyway that is watching, and then as you go from day to day, I believe that it will get more. You have more people. I think right now you have 18 people on the line. There were one time there was 20. But I'm sorry. Right? I'm not good at writing in the chat, so you have to forgive me. I'm still practicing. So forgive me if I don't respond. I get a few of those questions. When you were asking, I got a few for myself, but I couldn't write it in. I couldn't find where to put them. So I will gradually learn, but I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
For everyone that are participating, I pray that God continue to bless you. I have to put that in. That's my thing, guys. God help you guys to do what you do best, because every one of you have a talent, and you have to activate it and work on it.
And I told everyone that you are elders.
Yes. So they understand that if I don't get to write in the chat, is okay?
It's okay. But tell the folks how old you are.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Well, for you guys, what do you say now? I don't know. It's not 82 yet. August the 17th, I'll be turning 82 years old. And I have so much to give thanks for. And as I said, I've learned and hear a lot of Nancy's story and Duppy's story and all of that when you grow up. And as you get older, I'm learning from you guys, the younger ones, that are doing such excellent. You want to, should I put my face on there?
Would you like to put your face on there?
Well, if I'm telling my age, I should show them who I am, right?
Yes, that's okay.
All right, there you go. Let me put this on. See if it
All right. You ready?
Okay. Yeah, here I am.
There you are.
This is me.
Yes.
And I want to know that I've watched you go from one level to the next, and today you're on a bigger screen. I could put it on my television and watch it there too. but I'm just watching it on the tablet right now. Next time I'm going to connect it to the television so I can have you in a bigger screen.
Oh,
I
wonderful.
know that you are doing excellent. So, as everyone know, I am watching from Whitby, Ontario, Canada, and that's my new home. And I thank you for inviting me on that. I have a word to say and to bless you all for the work that you're doing in letting people laugh. And that's very important because so much sadness around the world today, people don't know how to smile anymore. So what you're doing is to put a smile on somebody's face. And that's the way we should go, to love more than anything. This is Black Heritage Month, almost finished. But if we don't love and forgive and grow with everyone around us, then we're going to lose the battle to those who do not care. But we love you guys. We love you. I love you all. Enjoy your portion and let everything that you do gracefully, with dignity, and you'll be blessed.
Wow. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
bless you.
Thank you.
Should I'll
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Auntie Peggy. Looking for Deborah. Deborah, are you ready to talk about your amazing project, helping us to share more stories with our community? All right. I thought I saw you. Still looking wonderful. So we have some events coming up surrounding storytelling, our stories, and the way that we tell them. And so we want to share some of that today. There you are, Deborah. Great to see you. Great to see you.
Hi, everybody.
Awesome.
Wonderful evening. I've enjoyed what I've heard so far.
Awesome. Well, tell us a bit about your project.
Well, the project that we're working on is called the Origin Story Project. And it's through an organization that started called Natural Born Tellers. And Kesha is a huge part of this. But basically, it's to find ways to really reignite storytelling in our community as a tool for building community, for getting to know one another, and for determining our identity, specifically in Canada, but also for building resilience among us, for us as adults and children. We have so many stories. We're in the fabric of our communities, of our whatever respective countries. I see a brother from Los Angeles, not necessarily Canada, but wherever we are, our people have been there for a long time, and a lot of the times our stories are not known. So this project is about really utilizing the importance of storytelling and the oral traditions in our community, and really making the most of the power that gives us, and going from there. So there are a number of initiatives. We have developed sort of way of studying and figuring out how important storytelling is for us, with something called story gatherings, and we're having one in March on the 22nd at a historically Black church in Oshawa, Ontario. And it's that one is specifically for Black caregivers, specifically parents who have children with special needs, because even utilizing the challenge of that world, we encounter obstacles because of who we are, outside of just parents who have children with special needs. So we're going to get together and have a wellness workshop to find out how we can use storytelling to build that community, to empower that community, and to encourage that community as well.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing the project with us. And thank you for joining us this evening as we continue to share our stories, amplify our voices, and just broadcast not only to our communities, but out to the world. So thank you again.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's wonderful to see all of you here tonight.
Thank you. All right, all right. So as our evening continues, I have another riddle. I have to give you another riddle. It is what it is. So let's see if you can get this one. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Guess this riddle or perhaps not. Let's see, where are we? What book has eyes? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Feel free to put the answer in the chat. What book has eyes? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Bum, 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 do, 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 do. Bum, bum, bum. Ooh, I like that one. Let's see, let's see, let's see. What book has eyes? What book has eyes? What book has eyes? All right, a few more seconds. Don't miss your chance. Don't miss your chance. All right. The book that has eyes is Facebook. All right. What about this one? What is on your body and no matter how you wash it, it still smells? What is on your body that no matter how you wash it, it still smells? Looks like this one was an easy one. Oh, yeah. You got it. Your nose. What about this one?
I have a question.
Yeah, what's your question?
You said I can smell, but I want to know smell how.
You're the one who got the answer.
But I correct myself because I didn't realize you didn't specify smell how.
Oh, goodness, goodness. That was a good one. All right. Let's see about this one. What is round like a biscuit and busy like a bee? What is round like a biscuit and busy like a bee? Do, 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 do. Uh-oh. Did I stump you with this one? What is round like a biscuit and busy like a bee? You want a hint? It's always moving. Round like a biscuit, busy like a bee, and it's always moving. What do you think it might be? Ooh, that's a good guess. What else? What else? Ooh, another good guess. Another good guess. Let's see here. Go. All right. There we go. Monica, I see your hand. All right, all right. Well, the answer is a clock. Yes, it's a clock. But I can't go anywhere without saying this one. I think this one is my favorite riddle for the evening. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Guess me this riddle, or perhaps not. The Prime Minister, Doctor, Governor General, and the help which one wears the biggest hat? The Prime Minister, Doctor, Governor General, and the help? Which of them wears the biggest hat? Which country are we talking about? Oh my, oh my. I think they're all the same for real. True, it might depend, but who has the biggest hat? Well, the answer is easy. The one who has the biggest head. I couldn't help it. That one stood out. Awesome, awesome. Again, I give thanks for everyone joining us this evening. And I'm going to share another story with you in a moment. Yes, put your love in the chat. Thank you, thank you. Awesome. Well, this is a story about a chameleon. No, the chameleon spends a lot of its time moving around, but the chameleon tend to like a specific tree. This tree was on a bank near a river, and well, the chameleon had an unlikely friend, crocodile. And crocodile would come out of the river, lay on the riverbank near the tree where the chameleon would hang out in. And so the chameleon would hang on a branch, and that branch would bow down, and he and crocodile would sit and talk about this and that and the other thing. As a matter of fact, everyone would walk in amazement at how close their friendship was. A crocodile would invite chameleon to his place for dinner, and chameleon would always say no. But crocodile one day said this, you know, chameleon, we are friends. We are good friends, but you've never been to my house. You've never met my family, and I'm just below the river. If you're worried about getting wet, I will take you down myself so that I know that you are safe. Chameleon thought about it for some time. But you know, they were good friends and they spent a lot of time talking about this, that, and the other thing. But Crocodile was right. Chameleon had never, ever went to his house. So Chameleon finally said yes. And with that, they made a plan. The day after the next is when it would happen. Well, Crocodile said, Chameleon, I'm going to come up to the top of the water. You jump on my head and I will take you down to see my family. Crocodile was so excited. Crocodile went and shared with his wife and his children and said, oh, Chameleon is coming for dinner. Chameleon is coming for dinner. And with a sly smile, Crocodile said, and we will have chameleon meat. Well, the day came and Chameleon had that uneasy feeling, you know, like a weight on your chest. Something just not feels so right. But invitation for a friend, Chameleon kept going. Chameleon was on the riverside, but picked up this stick and thought, you know, I like my friend Crocodile, but this is a different thing. Normally I'm in my space and he's in his space, but this just something just heavy. So Crocodile came up to the water began to bubble. Crocodile came up. Chameleon heard when Crocodile got to the top of the water. And Chameleon threw the stick same time. When Chameleon threw that stick, Crocodile opened its mouth and snap, clammed down on the stick and dove deep under the water. Chameleon started to shake. But this is my friend. This is my friend, and my friend tried to eat me. Caution, world, caution. You must always think twice before you do certain things. And remember, Just because you're friends with someone in your place and their place doesn't mean you have to go together. Thank you. Thank you so much. Awesome. Well, our evening is going so quickly, and thank you for everyone who was able to attend. Please continue to put your love in the chat. We have some amazing stories. I want to give a big thank you to Lisa Levi joining us from London. I want to give thanks to Heather Thompson, who joined us from the Bahamas. I want to give thanks to Steve Russell from LA, Maxine Palomino from Toronto. Want to give thanks to Anne Worm for navigating behind the scenes and making sure that we know how to get in touch with our storytellers and the work that they're doing. So thank you so much for that. I want to thank you everyone who's joined us, individuals and families, and I will keep you posted on our next gather around session. And so for now, I wish you blessings and good night, and most of all, walk good. Good night, everyone.